Morning, partial passwords to our state's voting systems apparently leaked to the public on the Secretary of State's website.
Yeah, so Colorado's Republican Party accused the Colorado Secretary of State's office of, quote, quietly removing a publicly accessible spreadsheet from the office's website that contained passwords for those election systems. So Fox 31's Carly Moore is in studio kind of breaking down what exactly happened with this. I mean, you think now they kind of tout the fact that the elections are so secure. So you wonder, how did this even happen?
Yeah, and maybe also, why didn't they just come out and tell us about the error in the first place?
Right. Yeah.
Kirk, Andrea, good morning. So Jena Griswold's office has long touted that Colorado elections are the gold standard when it comes to security, but the GOP says this type of security breach could have far-reaching implications. The Secretary of State's office says they're aware that the tab should have never been on their website to begin with. Now, the office acknowledged their website had a hidden tab with partial passwords on it, but added that does not pose a threat to election security and will not affect how ballots are counted.
Secretary Griswold told me today that she had not decided whether to tell you, the public, about that password leak before she got called out on it publicly today. I asked Secretary Griswold whether she takes responsibility for this election security breach in the same way that she has held others accountable, and we discussed a string of errors by her office that can damage voter confidence.
To be very clear, we do not see this as a full security threat to the state. This is not a security threat.
You do frequent media interviews warning of the insider threats to elections. The U.S. Department of Homeland Security defines an insider threat as somebody who uses authorized access wittingly or unwittingly to do harm. Did the actions of your office pose an insider threat to elections?
No.
All right, guys, so we got to talk about some pre-election day shenanigans that the mainstream liberal media will ignore because of their obsession with Trump, okay? And this story that we got to talk about involves Colorado's Secretary of State by the name of Jena Griswold, who is extremely Trump deranged. Now, if you guys do not remember this lady, let me remind you, because this is the same woman that decided to launch the infamous challenge to President Trump being on the Colorado ballot. She removed Trump from the ballot because in her mind, Trump was an insurrectionist and he was therefore ineligible to run for president of the United States. And eventually the Supreme Court had to smack down this woman and let her know that, hey, you're getting a little bit too big for your britches. And I just want to play this clip here of her reaction to the Supreme Court decision so that you guys, again, understand exactly who this woman is and how Trump deranged she is. Take a look.
Do you feel betrayed by the liberal justices on the court?
Thanks for having me on, and absolutely not. My reaction foremost is that I'm glad the Supreme Court issued a decision. Americans will be voting today and tomorrow across the nation, especially in states where there's early voting, and they deserve to know whether or not Trump is an eligible candidate. But beyond that, I am disappointed in the decision. I do believe it is up to a state to decide whether to put an oath-breaking insurrectionist onto our ballots or not. The Supreme Court obviously disagrees. And of course, the state of Colorado will follow the Supreme Court's decision.
Well, in fact, it was what the Supreme Court decided was that it is not up to a state when it comes to a federal office like the presidency. It is up to Congress. What would you like to see Congress do with that information?
That's right. So the Supreme Court said Congress would have to act first to effectuate Section 3 of the 14th Amendment, which disqualifies oath-breaking insurrectionists. And I think logistically, this is basically a run for office, no questions asked for federal or oath-breaking insurrectionist candidates. Because the likelihood of this Congress passing any type of law restricting oath breakers from running for federal office is highly unlikely.
Yeah, so you see that, you heard that. This woman clearly upset over the fact that the Supreme Court, including the liberal justices, smacked down her attempt to overthrow democracy, like literally overthrow democracy by removing Trump from the Colorado ballot, okay? And now we have to talk about this new story involving this woman who seems to be more focused on Trump than her actual job, which is to protect the election integrity of the state. Because apparently this woman, her office, inadvertently posted a spreadsheet to its website with a hidden tab that included voting system passwords. Yes, this is the same woman who seems to be more obsessed with Trump than actually doing her damn job. And she posted a spreadsheet with voting system passwords, which clearly is very negligent, right? And something that she probably should resign over, but she's refusing to resign. So I want to talk about it. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the clip.
Passwords to Colorado's voting machines were posted online by the Secretary of State's office and left there for anyone to see for months. Democratic Secretary of State Jena Griswold had known about that error since last week, but didn't tell the county clerks who run elections.
Those passwords alone are not enough to get access to the voting machines, but it's the latest in a string of errors by Griswold's office that have undermined voter confidence in elections. Yet Griswold told me today she will not resign.
To be very clear, we do not see this as a full security threat.
Democratic Secretary of State Jena Griswold acknowledged after being called out by Colorado Republicans that her office leaked voting system passwords and is now in a scramble across the state to change the passwords and determine if anyone inside clerks' offices combined that password with the internal access they would have needed to actually get inside the machines.
The fact that the BIOS passwords were online is concerning, but we are satisfied with the mitigation steps that the state is taking.
Matt Crane, head of the County Clerks Association, a former Republican clerk, says layers of security provide protection.
Every Coloradan votes on a paper ballot, and the paper ballots are audited.
Secretary Griswold deflected responsibility for the leaked passwords and said she might not have told the public if word didn't get out. In 2021, when Mesa County's voting system passwords leaked, your office said, quote, "The public disclosure of the BIOS passwords for one or more components of Mesa County's voting system alone constitutes a serious breach of voting system security protocols. By that standard, did your office commit a serious breach of voting system security protocols?"
Well, to push back on you, Kyle, that sentence is in the press release, but there is a much bigger press release. And part of that investigation in Mesa County was 2 sets of passwords, unauthorized access, stolen passwords, and it was in a different time. Since 2021 and what happened in Mesa County, our security has improved, including the 24/7 hour cameras, including the badge and access. The law has been significantly strengthened since then. We have multiple layers in place to ensure situations like Mesa County don't occur.
Leaked passwords
Wow. AKA rules for thee, not for me, right? When we do something wrong, when we have a serious security breach, oh, well, it's not that serious, right? It's not really that serious, okay? But when it happens, in another place, oh, well, it's very serious, okay? And you must punish those people to the fullest extent of the law. But when we get caught and we do something like that, nah, you don't understand. More context, okay? More details are necessary. You don't understand that there's a lot more to it. Again, it's just funny how this works. But what you have here is clearly somebody who was more focused on Trump than actually doing her damn job. These passwords were exposed for months. Now, they claim that the passwords in and of themselves were not enough to get inside of the voting machines, okay? However, if you worked for the office and you had access to these passwords and also more internal access as well too, then reasonably you could get access, right? Now, they claim that hasn't happened, or they don't know if that has happened, but still, the fact that a security breach like this happened in such a negligent way warrants this woman stepping down. Again, especially considering how this woman spent taxpayer dollars to go after her political opponent just for it to get struck down by the Supreme Court. Again, clearly she's not focused on doing her actual job.
The latest error by Griswold's office undermining public trust in elections. In 2022, her office sent 30,000 non-citizens an invitation to register to vote.
Wow.
That same year, her office mistakenly notified Coloradans who had voted that they still needed to vote, caused confusion for the county clerks, who were not notified by Griswold's office that they had.
So not only is this woman making mistakes, but she's not notifying people of the mistakes, right? So she is extremely negligent, careless, again, more worried about Trump than doing her damn job. And then when she makes the mistake, she goes out of her way to try to cover up the mistake by not informing the public and other officials that, hey, this mistake was made. Hey, there was a security breach, right? Passwords to the voting systems have been exposed. Yeah, we might need to do something about this. We might need to let the public know and be transparent about it, because we want people to have faith in the system, okay? We want people to have faith that the people that are running the system actually know what the hell they're doing. But no, that's not what she's doing here. This woman is clearly corrupt, okay? And this is a problem. This is a huge problem, okay? Again, her priorities seem to be in the wrong place. More focused on Trump than actually doing what she's supposed to be doing.
Leaked the voting system passwords. Given your office's repeated errors that have damaged confidence in our elections, which you say is paramount, will you resign?
Absolutely not, Kyle. Colorado is tied for #1 in confidence in the country in our elections. We have stood up to situations time and time again to protect the right of Coloradans, going over and beyond what anybody would ask of civil servants in this office.
Secretary of State's office says that they will be in charge of investigating their own actions.
Wow. Yeah, we're going to investigate ourselves. And of course, they're going to find nothing, right? They're going to find we didn't do anything wrong. And yeah, she should keep her job, which is a damn shame. Okay, this woman should be in jail, right? Let's keep it 100. Not only should she resign, she should be in jail. She should be in jail for trying to overthrow democracy within her own state by removing Trump from the ballot. She knew that case wasn't going to go anywhere. She knew that what she tried to do was not constitutional, but she did anyway. She wasted taxpayer dollars trying to go after Trump, right? Even though she knew that it wasn't going to hold up in the Supreme Court. And lo and behold, her own office is not in order while she's spending all of her time and resources trying to go after her political opponent. But yet she's inadvertently leaking passwords to the voting systems on the internet for anybody to see. It's astonishing. It really is. So, just another story about Democrat Party incompetence and the fact that, they're not going to be held accountable, okay, because Democrats are allergic to accountability and responsibility. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.